right, hello everybody. How are we all doing tonight?
So good.
Really, that's good, because some of you guys still have computers open. It's been a long day. I'm going to be honest, we're doing as much as we can with tech. As you might notice, this mic is not connected to anything. As you might notice, you can't hear anything special besides my voice. But it looks cool, so we're going to be... It's really special, and that's what stand-up comedy is all about. Those special little moments we have with one another. Guys, this is a pretty touching stand-up show as well. Just you wait. I really appreciate y'all showing up tonight. I know you all are super busy, but we got some incredible comedians, some of my favorite people on Harvard's campus, and they're going to kill it. I love them all. Not to hype them up too much, no pressure. But I really appreciate you being here. Especially so many of you out-of-towners. I mean, do we have anyone from the river here tonight? Yeah. Where are y'all from? From the yard? They let you in? Your cards work now? Okay, good. What dorms are you guys putting in next year? Kirkland? Adams and what? And Quincy. Wow. They like you guys. They do not like us. Yeah, they're trying to create a separate campus. Anyways, you guys don't have to listen to me all night because we have an incredible first comedian up. One of my closest friends. She's amazing. She's the queen of Courier. You all already probably know her. You know her. You love her. We rave about her.
Oh my god.
It is Rave.
Thank you so much. I feel like sexting is a lot like Dungeons and Dragons. Like when I did it for the first time, I rolled the dice and I was like, so now what do I do with the wizard staff? But I got the hang of it really quickly. Like when he pulled his dick out, I was like, can I roll to dodge? I'm a pro now. But yeah, I've never actually played Dungeons and Dragons, but I know there's this thing called an alignment chart. So you can be chaotic evil or neutral good, or in my case, lawful kinky. But speaking of alignment charts, I feel like Taylor Swift has really weird lyrics, in her song Antihero. I'm sure all of you probably know. She says, sometimes I feel like everybody's a sexy baby and I'm a monster on the hill. And I was thinking, that's an alignment chart. So you can either be a sexy baby, a monster on the hill, or a monster baby and a sexy hill. Is anyone here a monster baby? Great. Me too. Yeah, I feel I'm surprised that a lot of dads love Taylor Swift, but this seems to be the case. Jack, your dad loves Taylor Swift.
He does.
Yeah. I'm really surprised my dad doesn't love Taylor Swift. Because my dad, I feel became a 30-year-old white woman recently. Last summer, I came home, and the first thing he said to me was, have you seen Emily in Paris? I feel like she just really gets it. And then I, went to the fridge in my house, and it was just filled to the brim with kombucha. I'm not even kidding. And, there was just no food in there, and if there was food, it was, this tiny little seaweed salad. But yeah, naturally, I became addicted to kombucha that summer, specifically the brand by GT Dave. If you guys know GT Dave's brand, you get it. GT Dave is this wacky entrepreneur. He kind of looks like a yassified version of a guy named Greg. And it's he's really charismatic, but in a way that you manually program ChatGPT to act like Ryan Reynolds. He's such an artificial enigma. But basically when he was a teenager, he went to the Himalayan mountains and this on a spiritual trip, and this Buddhist nun gave him SCOBY, which is the bacteria that you use to make kombucha. This is real. Check this Wikipedia. But naturally, just like Willy Wonka, he came back to America and capitalized off of their culture, and he was a colonist of kombucha. But it tastes so good. Like I love kombucha. This brand is amazing. Like me and my dad became addicted to GT Dave's kombucha. Like we both started following him on LinkedIn, and we actually kept up with every single post. And one day I remember I told my dad, I was like, "Did you see GT Dave's new post? Like, if there's 3 new flavors of kombucha?" And my dad said, "Check the fridge." And we had all 3 flavors. But yeah, it's literally insane. I feel like nowadays Netflix is like just putting out such mediocre content, like quantity over quality, which is why I would be an amazing candidate for a Netflix special. Like, I feel like every conversation with me is so nothing, but you still stick around for some reason. And then when I get bored, I'm like, let's listen to some royalty-free Christmas music that is cheap enough for Netflix to afford. I feel like technology is like, some technology is inherently racist because it's made by a bunch of like white guys. And I know this because whenever I use an automatic soap dispenser, it says to me, "But where are you really from?" And recently I've tried to get back at technology. So like whenever I'm at a crosswalk, there's like the light with the hand that tells you to not walk, and then there's like the white man that tells you to walk. I don't want to listen to the white man, okay? So I cross whenever I want to, and it's really fucking dangerous. But I'm getting back at the man. But yeah, I used to live in Utah, and really, we're cheering. No, yeah, I lived there where the only diversity was me and a white girl named Asia. And it was really scary because you never knew when like some white guy was about to convert you to Mormonism. Like every corner you turn, it's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ," and the guy's like, "No, I think you mean Joseph Smith." Yeah, I feel like it wasn't the best place for a Black girl to grow up because they kind of treated me like I was the spokesperson of all Black people when they know that Steve Harvey exists. Like, come on. But yeah, like after I lived in Utah for a while, I moved to Michigan, where suddenly I wasn't Black enough, which is crazy because I was the Martin Luther King Jr. of Utah for like the past 4 years. But looking back, I feel like I was really impactful in a way that like the first Black bachelorette was. Like, she did nothing for the community, but it was still a milestone. But yeah, I don't like the phrase "not Black enough." I don't think it should apply to me. Like, yeah, Weezer was my #1 artist on Spotify, but they did a really good cover of No Scrubs by TLC. Check it out, guys. But yeah, I just want to like end with a cute story about my parents. They got along because my dad fetishized Asian culture and my mom fetishized Black culture. And then they had me, the most beautiful Blasian baby that people would fetishize for years. But yeah, it's really special. But every time they use an automatic soap dispenser, it says to them, "I hate interracial marriage." Thank you, guys.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
No.
Okay, we'll figure that out later. Thank you, Rave. Let's give her another round of applause. I see we got in a couple stragglers. For all of you who came late, 2 things. 1, thank you for showing up. 2, buy a watch. And speaking of 2, we got the second performer in our list. I see that. I didn't even write that. Anyways, we're so lucky to have her. She is unbelievably talented, and I'm just very grateful she said yes. Again, not to overhype my performers, even though I love them all so much. Next up, we have Isabel Levin.
You guys came out to have a good time tonight. So let's talk about climate change. I recently found out that if you drive to work every day, you emit 2.4 tons of carbon into the atmosphere. And if you ride in a plane, you emit 1.2 tons. And if you eat red meat, you emit 3.4 tons. Which means the most important thing you can do for climate change is kill yourself. Instead of asking for donations, the World Wildlife Fund should send you a gun. And a complimentary tote bag for your loved one. The World Wildlife Fund was founded in the 1960s, at the height of the civil rights movement, which means that some asshole watched black protesters being sprayed with fire hoses. I was like, you know who needs our help? The iguanas. Scaly lives matter. I always see those white roadside ghost bike memorials. I've started riding a white bike with flowers just in case. If something happens, they could be like, leave it. I recently heard a story about a baby that was abandoned in a dumpster, which is fucked up. Because that's compostable. Do you guys know who Jane Goodall is?
Yeah.
I think she needs to be taken down a peg. Jane Goodall observed the chimps for 30 years. What new information was there after like 5 years? Like she wrote down, they eat fruits and seeds and then coasted. Jane Goodall discovered chimps can't swim. Not naming names, but sounds like someone threw a chimp in a lake. Jane Goodall argued that chimps are just like humans. I don't buy it. If they were, it wouldn't be so funny when they wear hats. When I see a man in a fedora, I'm like, okay. If I saw a chimp in a fedora, I'd be like, huh. Jane Goodall said in an interview that her favorite animal was dogs. What? Jane Goodall. We're gonna get through this. Jane Goodall had to sleep naked with the chimps for 2 years to earn their trust. That's a rumor I'm starting. Last one. Jane Goodall is a cunt. That's enough about the nice lady. You probably think I'm a bad person, but sometimes the world gets to me. A few years back, I was committed to a psych ward for anorexia. Not to brag, At check-in, they took my dental floss because they were afraid I would hang myself with it. I was flattered they thought I was that thin. They took my dental floss, my shoelaces, the drawstring in my sweatpants, the underwire in my bra. I was like, what kind of sad engineer do you think I am? Like, I want people to find me and be like, she's dead, but how innovative. At intake, they gave me a name tag for my name and favorite band. That is not the information I needed about the other patients. On my first day, I watched a man take a shit in a potted plant. At no point did I wonder if he also liked salt and pepper. It's insane to me. They put people with all different mental illnesses in the same psych ward. That'd be like putting all the animals in the zoo in the same enclosure and being like, let's see what happens. Maybe the zebra will like the schizophrenic. When I heard Gandhi went on hunger strike for 21 days, I was like, amateur. Gandhi starved himself so India could be free. Not to toot my own horn, but I think it's more impressive. I did it for no reason at all. Abercrombie got in trouble for making anorexia-size pants. But I thought that was great representation. I felt so seen. I think Abercrombie should make pants for every disease. Like diabetes pants that are zip-offs, but just one leg. Or IBS pants that are just assless chaps. Okay, I'm gonna try a last one. I like period sex. The mess is half the fun. It's like ribs.
Anyways. Yeah, that was a great set. Thank you so again. Another round of applause for Isabel. And next up on the set list, we have me. I just want to say once again, hello to everyone, and thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you all being here with how busy you've been. And one more round of applause. The performers are going to be amazing. They've been amazing. And yeah. I just want to make them happy because, fun fact about me, I'm a bit of a people pleaser. My friend and I are both people pleasers, so it takes a while for us to plan things. We talk things out. We don't end up doing anything. But we're both pleased. So it works. And I honestly, I don't think of myself as a people pleaser, but people tell me I'm a people pleaser. They're always like, Jack, you're such a people pleaser. You have to stop being so nice to people. I'm like, guys, that's really annoying. We should stop. Well, I don't say that, but I think it. And that's a good step for me. Because honestly, I don't think of myself as a people pleaser. I don't choose to be nice. I just didn't know there was, is there another option? Are you guys choosing to be people displeasers? Is that why the Tuckman elevator always smells like rotten milk? Is someone taking a bunch of cans of milk and dropping it in there every single weekend? I'm a little upset about that. But yeah, I would consider myself a people pleaser. I think I would be the first person voted off Survivor unanimously. I think they would read the votes like, Well, we've tallied up 7 of the 8 votes, all voting for Jack. The decision seems pretty clear. But let's give him a chance. Let's see who Jack voted for. And, after 2 commercial breaks, they would open up and they would go, and the last vote is for Jack, but with a little heart over the J. And then they would go to my farewell video and be like, wow, I did not see that coming. I mean, it's great to see how unified everyone is. We've been here for 2 weeks, and look what we've already done. First unanimous vote in history. Great job, everyone. I'd go around for high fives. We'd all celebrate. And then I would leave. They'd be like, fuck that guy. So I started looking around in my life to see who I could learn from, to be a little bit less of a people pleaser, for the people who have so much unearned confidence. I think we all know people in our life who have so much unearned confidence. Good for them. I'm happy for them. The one I'm thinking of, I don't know if you guys have ever been on the subway recently, but there's some people who like to come onto the subway with their friends in a little boombox and then freestyle rap for you for 5 minutes when you can't leave. I wish I had the confidence of subway rappers to go on rapping, freestyling about their 7 Lambos, which must be in their 7-car garage since they're on the red line. And then rap in my face for 5 minutes when I explicitly did not want this. I admire them. I admire them. Who has the confidence to say, you know what, these professional music producers who are getting paid to listen to music don't want me. But you know who does? 70 Bostonians in a hot metal box. If there's anyone who likes a little surprise in their day, it's Bostonians in the morning on their way to work. And then, oh my gosh, the most magical, the cream of the cream, the cherry on top, the whatever rule of threes word I'm going to say next, for the confidence, is that after doing this little rap, then they go around with a fedora and ask you to pay them. Like, I would love if I had the confidence with stand-up comedy to do a set in the middle of the street and then say, can you please pay me? Can you please? Like, do you have any spare change for a struggling rapper? Do I have a spare change for a struggling rapper? What do I look like? A gumball machine? No one's had spare change since the 70s. I mean, do you remember when, like, finding a heads-up penny used to be a sign of good luck? Like, it was like, oh, if you pick up a penny, you're going to have some good luck. But that doesn't happen anymore. Like, 1 cent of good luck is not going to help me. After this school, I'm going to need $150,000 worth of good luck. And then after that, they're like, well, I haven't found my people here. Let's move to the next car, guys. As if they're going to have better luck over there. I don't know what they expect from us. I don't know Jay-Z. Jay-Z doesn't take the subway. Also, I'm not going to do anything for you. I still get afraid calling my dentist. I'm not going to call up Jay-Z on Death Row Records saying, yeah, I got a great guy for you. He just ride on the streets with 6 beats 4 times. No, I know. 4 times. It's unprecedented. No, you got to get over here, Jay-Z. No, after we get our lunch? Yeah, for sure. It's not going to happen. Another person in my life who is so great at not pleasing people is my little cousin Tally. Because little cousin Tally, she's in 4th grade. So those kids that age, they say whatever they want. And they know that they can say whatever they want because we can't hit them. Honestly, cousin Tyler gets away with a lot of shit. 2 years ago, I was at Christmas dinner, eating dinner like you're supposed to. Not that crazy. I was putting some food on my plate, and then cousin Tally comes over and called me a fat whale. She's a kid. Like, kids don't know what they're saying, so I didn't say anything because, when I was a kid, I said I wanted to be either the president of the United States or work at a McDonald's because they both have their own chefs. So, kids that age don't really know what they're talking about. And the problem is now that she's getting older, she's just getting smarter. She's just finding better ways to say it. So she doesn't call me a fat whale anymore. So let's come up and say, she'll see me last year, I was getting some dessert, Christmas dessert, like normal people do. Not that crazy. Put it on. She's like, wow, Jack, you seem to be really enjoying those Christmas cookies. She looks over her shoulder Mom, I told you we should have gotten the bigger Christmas sweater for him. It was probably the most intimidating thing I've ever heard from about hip hop. I think next year she's just gonna once she gets Instagram, she's just gonna post a family photo and go #body positive. On a completely unrelated note, I've started going to the gym more. Thank you. It's not really saying much. I really just had to show up once, and that counts as more. I've been really getting into this thing called functional fitness. Have you guys heard of functional fitness? Okay, cool. Let me explain it to you. Basically, it's just the theory that like when you're going to the gym, you should only do workouts that are going to help you, that you're going to do in your normal life. I never bicep curl in my normal life, so I'm never going to use that. So I'm never going to work it out in the gym. Like the classic. So like for instance, like you'll do push-ups because it hits so many muscle groups. I go for runs just in case I have to run from the mafia, or I'll do like farmers carries in case I have to farm. I guess. Like the classic example they give is like you get these huge buff guys who are like, "No, I'm telling you, you got to do functional fitness. You got to get into the gym because what happens if you're hanging from a cliff?" If we get to that problem, something else has gone wrong. What happens if you're hanging from a cliff and there's no one there to save you and you have to pull yourself up? You're going to wish you'd done pull-ups. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do pull-ups, but I only ever do one. Because if I'm hanging from a cliff, I'm not going back down for reps. If someone's there with an outstretched hand and they're like, "Jack, please take my hand," I'm not going to say, "No, I'm going to go back down because once I get up there, I'm going to have a sick pump going." And that's my set. All right, everyone. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not just stand-up we're doing here tonight. We're very lucky. We have a very special member to help us out with a little song that we prepared. I mean, with finals week, we're all stressed. You know, there's a lot going on. And so sometimes you just need to look inside yourself. And you have to wonder and ask the question, am I a man or a Muppet? I reflect on my reflection, and I ask myself the question, what's the right direction to go? I don't know. Am I a man? Or am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet? If I'm a Muppet, then I'm a very manly Muppet. Very manly Muppet. Am I a Muppet? Muppet. Or am I a man? Am I a man? If I'm a man, that makes me a Muppet of a man. A Muppet of a man. I look into his eyes, and I don't recognize the one I feel inside. It's hard for me to decide. Am I a man or am I a Muppet? I'm a very manly Muppet. Am I a Muppet or am I a man? If I'm a man, that makes me a Muppet of a man. Here I go again, I'm always running out of time. I think I've made up my mind. Now I understand who I am. I'm a Muppet of a man. I'm a very manly Muppet. I'm a Muppet of a man. That's what I am. That's what happens when you host your own show. You can do whatever you want. Awesome. Thank you all. Next up, we have the incomparable, my great friend, Charlotte Daniels.
thing on? Just kidding. I know it's not. Jack trapped 50 Bostonians in a room. I don't know Kanye West, Jack. Sorry. Is that the person you said? Okay, sorry. I'm Charlotte. I failed my driver's test 11 times. I'm aware that there's a stereotype that women can't drive, but I think of myself as repairing the glass ceiling. The other day I got a DUI. I'm sorry, an IUD. Sorry. Oh, God, women, Jesus. Sorry, an IUD is like a little hormonal fishing hook that's like shoved up your body and messes up your emotions, and it like really hurts. But it does protect you from the horrors of having a child. So the first thing I did was go on Tinder. So I'm scrolling, I see a few Joshes, a few Steves, and then I black out. And I awaken to see a photo of a guy holding a big, beautiful fish by the hook. I blink, I see myself, I see the fish, I blink again. I hold my stomach, I can feel it going deeper inside me. You know, most people would look at that photo and, just see a dead aquatic vertebrate in the hands of a meaty man. But I see a scared little fish, that just went through an invasive medical procedure and is in pain. That fish is going through hormonal hell, crying at a cat food commercial, yelling at her mom when she doesn't deserve it, bleeding for 2 weeks. Sorry, gross. That fish feels like it's having a goddamn fish baby every morning, and that fish watches TikTok and hates its fucking body. That fish tries to wear makeup, but she doesn't really understand what bronzer is, and no one seems to tell her what it is. That fish looks in the mirror every day and says, God, why me? It's not me, guys. It's not me. That fish thinks about dyeing her hair, and that fish's mom is like, you won't get a job. For every $1 that man makes, that fish is making 82 cents. That fish knows that if it wants a promotion at work, it's going to have to show a few skills, but it doesn't want to. Her gill's her choice, But that meaty man and I matched, and now we've been married for 2 years. Come up here, babe. No, I'm kidding. I'm not married, but the state of California thinks I am. I didn't realize this until recently when I was trying to apply for a new passport, and the application says, are you married? And I say no, and it says error. And I reloaded it, and it said error again. And so I called the office and say, I think the system thinks I'm married. And she said, yes. And I say, but I'm not. And she said, okay, let me check. And I said, I've checked. And 3 minutes go by, and she comes back on the phone, and she's like, are you sure you're not married? I'm like, I'm sure. And I'll send you a photo of my hand without a ring on it. And she's like, many brides these days choose not to wear rings. They use other symbols to show their love. Fucking hell. So I have no idea how to prove I'm not married. This is literally 2 weeks ago. This happened to me. Sorry. So I call my dad, and it's during finals. So I'm very busy. He's like, okay, I'll handle it. I say, thank you so much. So days go by, and he calls me back, and I say, did you figure it out? Thank you so much for helping me. He says, yes, it's all good. I say, how did you do it? And he says, I just submitted a marriage license for you, and it'll get rejected, and then you won't be married. He says, you're going to marry me in order for them to know I'm not married? And he says, yes, it's the only way. So obviously we're all thinking, who did I get married to? Right? Which I asked, and he said, Eric Erics. I say, who? Obviously, I don't know him either. And he says, I made up a man named Eric Erics that you could get married to, and then once they realize he's not real, the marriage will get annulled, and they'll know that I'm single so I can get a passport. Craziest fucking plan I've ever heard. But there's a slight problem, Dad. Eric Erics is not the craziest name you could think of. And I looked it up, and there are 3 Eric Erics in California. Right now, living today. So let's guess who it is. Eric Eric's number 1, 31. It's like a fucking TV show. Online marketing specialist. I found him on LinkedIn. He graduated from UC Berkeley, did his senior thesis on Catholic business etiquette. Wherever he's CEO, so PEO, a Pope executive officer. I did it, okay. The second option was Eric. Eric's 45, adolescent orthodontist. He quit and restarted at the same place 3 times. Very worrisome. His skills on LinkedIn, Invisalign, could be helpful. I have a crooked tooth. And his interests are the company 7-Eleven. And Eric, 78, who's a firefighter at Chevron Mining. He only has one thing on LinkedIn, and it says that he follows the She-Devil food truck. So I'm really excited. Do you guys want to guess who you think it is? No, never mind. Well, it'll come back in a week, and it'll probably, I don't know what's going to happen. But thank you so much. I've been Charlotte Eric.
I can't wait to hear this exact same set from Eric Daniels next week. There's some woman in California who said we were married, but we're not. And now I can't get a passport. But hopefully it's good. Let's give another round of applause for our next performer, Dylan Pigott. Let's give a long round of applause. He's far in the back.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, no, good, you're good. Hey, how you guys doing? Action. This is a question for you guys. Did you know that a mother bird will toss its own child, its own baby, throw it out of the nest to the grounds below if it dates a black guy? You didn't see that one coming, did you? Birds are racist. That's the thing I've learned. Birds are pretty racist. I played rap for an eagle once. He put on a hood. All right. Here's another question for you guys. I was going to go see my aunt, actually. I went to go see my aunt. And she's been dressing differently these days. Like, I mean, she never used to wear a coffin when I... The joke in that one is she's no longer with us. Oh, yeah. Knock on wood, she's okay. That's just how me knocking on a coffin. What else? Oh, my brother. He's alive. He's good. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Yeah, my brother tore his ACL. So, bad news, torn ACL. Good news, his legs have never been able to bend further back, which is really crazy. He's super flexible now. He's like that guy, Mr. Elastic from the Fantastic Four, except no health insurance. You know? I'm joking. We have health insurance. It's just not good. It's just not good. Anyone else have Medicaid? No. All right. Ooh, what else? Ooh, I have a story. So, spring break, I went to this little town. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called New Orleans. It's a weird thing. New Orleans is one of God's blind spots. I'm sorry. So weird thing that's so cool. Miami Beach, Florida, New Orleans, anything goes. No one's paying attention. So I go down there for the summer, and I get lost. You know what it is. I'm walking around. I'm trying to get to Frenchman Avenue, sub Oliver. And trying to get to Frenchman Avenue, and I passed this pack of high schoolers. I believe the official term is like a gaggle of high schoolers. I pass a murder of high schoolers, and I see him, and I go, you know who's in touch with the ways? The youths. So I go, they'll know how to get to Frenchman Avenue. So I walk up to these kids, and I go, hey guys, do you know how to get to Frenchman Street? And they go to me, you're not from around here, are you? Which, bad sign. I don't know if you guys are, no one ever goes, you're not from around here, are you? And then shows you around. That every time. So, like a dumbass, I go, no, could you help me find Frenchmen? And they go, where you're from. And I go, all right, maybe we'll have a nice conversation about, like, I don't know, different opinions, geopolitics. So I tell him, I'm from New York. And he goes to his friends, City Boy wants to find Frenchmen. So he's turned to some sort of 1940s jazz man. So, hey, I've been in harder situations. I've taken CS50. I've crossed the George Washington Bridge after midnight. New York joke. So I go, we can bring this back. We can save this relationship. So I go, hey guys, I'm not from around here. You are. Could you tell me, please, how to get to Frenchman Avenue? And all of a sudden, don't know why, they form a huddle. They form like a little football scrum, and they all start talking to each other. And I'm thinking, all right, weird thing to do off the bat. But maybe they're doing a little like combine their minds thing where they trying to figure out the best way to get me to Frenchman Avenue. One of them's like, you should go up in the left. The other's like, no, you should take a cab. They're having like a little debate. And then they emerge from the fucking huddle, and the leader looks me in the eyes. You can always tell who the leader of a group of high schoolers is by how much clothes they're wearing. The more clothes they're wearing, the more the leader is. He had a jacket on, over a leather jacket, under a t-shirt, and I went, that guy, he can really do it. So he comes forward, and in his hand is a little French pastry. They're called beignets. I don't know if you're familiar with them. And I go, weird, because when they entered the huddle, no one had beignets. And now they somehow all have beignets. So he loads up his arm, and I know where this is going, and he full force chucks a beignet in my face. Now, here's what I'll say. You never know what it feels like to get hit with a beignet until you get hit with a beignet. And it's not great. So they're coming at me one after another, one in the peck, one in the throat. I'm getting pelted with beignets at this point. And I have a weird realization. You can't complain about that. You can't report that to the police. You got pelted with delicious French pastry, you say, for free. So I just have to walk away all sad, like covered in a thin mist of sugar, like a drug deal went wrong. And I smelled delicious. First time in my life I could say it. But eventually, I find Frenchmen. I find a bar. I sit down, and I'm still covered head to toe in beignet crumbs. And the bartender looks me up and down, and he says, oh, you were messing with that gaggle of high school students, huh? Like it's a thing that happened. So the lesson of that is if anyone ever asks you where you're from, you lie. You never tell them the truth. So I'm in Ireland about a couple of months later, and I'm sitting at a bar next to a guy who, I don't want to exaggerate, I'm not going to exaggerate, who is 2,000 years old on the lighter end. And he talks to me, and his name is, you ever see somebody's name and it looks like an eye exam? It's just like squiggly ass. His name was Kimball, which is a normal Irish name. His name's Kimball. And he starts talking to me, and the first words he says, well, actually, first off, I order a beer. I say, one beer for me. And he goes, ga, 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 ga. And I go, what? And he goes, sorry, fly in my throat. Never a phrase I've heard, but he says it like it's normal. And I go, okay. The next words out of his mouth are, where are you from? And I go, I know what to do with this. Canada. No one dislikes Canadians. The only people who don't like Canadians are other Canadians. It's amazing. So he goes, Canada, and he looks me in the eyes and he says, I fucking hate Canadians. And I go, shit. I try my best. And I go, why? Like I'm gonna somehow sort out his hatred of Canadians. And he looks me in the eyes and he says, Normandy, 1949. And in a weird train of events, he talks about how the Canadian military was late to the Norman Beach invasion. And I go, we're past that, right? He goes, no. And the last thing he says to me, or I would rather sit next to a dog than sit next to a Canadian. And then he gets up and goes sits in a corner next to an actual dog. There's one in the corner. All right, I'm going to end on that. But thank you.
always love Dylan's stand-ups because he always does three things. One, he opens up with a joke. Not sure if it should have gotten through. Two, he recovers. And then he brings us on a little world tour. He's like, today we're going to make jokes about this European country. Today we're going to make jokes about this city in the U.S. And the third thing he does is he gets his steps in. But when he was in Canada, he was here. And then when he was in New Orleans, he was here. So you guys just saw the big three from Dylan. And now it's time for the big one, the only, Ian Kimball.
Hello, everybody. I actually, okay, now that the pleasantries are over, I do have a question. Maybe people can help me with this. Since when does the word humbled mean the opposite of what it means? Okay, so maybe some of us have less strong opinions on that than others. So I think we're all reasonable people here, and I think I can get a round of applause for saying that. So we can all agree that the word humbled means to induce modesty, to make modest, to lessen, to put down. Just dictionary definition. And so why is it that these A-list Hollywood, Colin Jost types, when they get their big awards, they get up there, it's the proudest moment of their lives, they're showered in glory, pivotal moment. They don't say I'm proud. They don't say I'm grateful. They say I'm humbled. What? I mean, it's the biggest moment of their lives up there. And anyway, I'm sorry. I don't like how I get when I talk about humbled. It's a big thing. So, I do have other material. You ever go to someone's house and it always smells like laundry? Like, hey, buddy, I think the clothes are clean. So I just don't get humbled. I like to have anchors in my life, okay? Because a lot of stuff, you can't predict, but you can always predict certain things. And I thought humbled could be one of those anchors. Okay, but if words mean the opposite, I'm going to say up and I'm going to point here. I'm going to say down, I'll point here. I'm going to say left and I'm going to point somewhere. And I just, I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, sorry. Tonal shift. All right, who's ready for a card trick? But I can't do this alone. I'm gonna need a volunteer. Anybody? Okay, let's start with somebody come up here. Anybody? In the back.
Yeah, Charlie?
Hi, what's your name?
Charlie.
Are you enjoying the curry or fish bowl?
Yes.
Do you like magic?
Sure.
That's great. So, can you hold the microphone? I need 2 hands. Okay. Can I get another person to help with the trick? Okay. Just come up if you want to, and you got to be the first to come up. Hi, what's your name? Michelle, do you like magic?
I love magic.
Excellent. So I have a normal deck of cards here. Next roll. Okay, I have a normal deck of cards here. Now, can you just normal deck? Normal deck. Okay. Can you show the audience your card? Not me. Okay.
No problem, man.
Someone read it to that person. But very quietly. Okay, we got the card. Okay, now can you put the card back in the deck? Okay, now I'm gonna do a little thing called the riffle shuffle. It's a very advanced technique. Okay, can I get someone to help me pick up these cards? Yeah, back there. Thanks. I'll take it right here. Okay, thank you for your service. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, stay up here if you want. Okay. So, okay, normal deck of cards?
Yeah.
Okay, normal deck of cards. Now, I'm just gonna, no need to check again if it's normal. Okay. So, and now, with a little bit of magic energy. 3, 2, 1. Is this your card?